Mr. Chairman, I would like to add an item to the agenda. This is something that passed GenOps in December and January unanimously. It's a resolution for a nonprofit donation pursuant to TCA 5-9-109 to 501c3 for Westmoreland Quarterback Club to pay off debt incurred by athletic facility, an amount of $274,000, $272.08, and a memorandum of understanding, and I so move. To go under GenOps.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Say that this is something that I was requested to bring forward back in November and start investigating. I went through GenOps in December, went through GenOps in January, passed unanimously among seven members. Went to budget in December and went to budget in January, and it failed both times there. I'm just asking to have this on the agenda for us to discuss this item, not to be lumped in with anything else, no other omnibus spending, just this alone, and I'm just asking for this to be added to the agenda tonight. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen of the Commission, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'll be as brief as I can be while giving you as clear of a picture of why I'm here tonight as I can. In 2011, I became the high school principal at Westmoreland High School, and 40 years ago, I wore that red and white, and I was a part of that same football team that those young men stood up here and took great pride in representing. I have a vested interest because I've been there my entire life. I'm a product of Westmoreland High School. I played on the football team, and I came back there and I coached for a period of time before going away to Beach High School, Portland Middle School, and finding my way back home at Westmoreland High School. That same year in 2011, a gentleman by the name of Dale Phillips became the director of schools in Sumner County. He and I began to talk about the needs that both he was confronting and that I was confronting, and both of us had our plate very full. I began to look at priorities at Westmoreland High School and things that I wanted to improve upon. I looked at and created a list. On that list were desires and dreams and absolute necessities. One of the things that we absolutely identified and knew that we were going to have to do is create a new opportunity for a field house. Why did we need a new field house? The previous one, the one that we were using, had been built 50 years it's 50 years old now. Over the period of years, it had flooded and the walls had become permeated, saturated with water, and there was much moisture beneath the slab and in the walls. When the humidity would rise in the summertime, we found mold and mildew regularly. We sprayed so much bleach trying to kill it that our walls began to deteriorate, and it truly was a hazard. This was not something lavish and luxurious that we set out to do. It was very much a necessity. So I asked Dale Phillips, what can we do? He said, Rick, I just cannot commit or provide funding for an athletic facility. However, I offer you a compromise. I will provide you the opportunity, along with all high school principals, capital money that is discretionary to be used as you see fit. And he did just that. He was a man of his word. But I represent, as you represent multiple high schools, I represent multiple programs, multiple different students pursuing various activities. I could not take the entire sum of money, which again, I make clear, all high schools receive the same amount. I could not take that sum of money and give it solely to the football program. That would be unfair. That would not be prudent, and it would not be good leadership. So as best I could, I dispersed that money to the multiple programs: soccer, softball, baseball, basketball, cross country, track, band, etc. Over the next few years, between the football program itself, the quarterback club, and the capital money, we came up with $600,000. We were shy of what we needed to build this facility. I asked Dr. Phillips, if we build now, can I use future capital disbursement to pay this loan off? He said, once you build it and someone signs that note as a private citizen, Board of Education money cannot be used to pay back the loan. He said, but the county commission, if they so chose, could help in the future. So I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait. In talking with contractors, he said, you're saving about $50,000 to $60,000 a year. At that rate, inflation is going to outpace what you're able to save. He said, you're going to save $50,000 next year, and the cost may increase $75,000. So at that point, we decided to build a field house. We built that field house. 10 people in the community signed a private note guaranteeing the remaining balance, and what was over $300,000 in debt is now $274,000. It is not lavish. It is not luxurious. It is a responsible decision to meet the needs of our kids who stood before you tonight. And it's not black and white. In and of itself, it's not binary. I realize you can find 10 reasons to say no, but if you search, you can find 100 reasons to say yes. $274,000. In a county like Sumner, we have the money. It is available, and you can make it available to these young men, to our coaching staff, to our community, and to Westmoreland High School. I realize we're going to take action on this next month, but I just wanted you to know the facts surrounding this and why we're here tonight and what we hope to achieve going forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
My motion is to move this forward to the full commission in February with proper notice of the nonprofit allocation for this. We do that in a lot of different things. So that is my motion to come before this body. Again, like I said, it came before General Ops twice. I know there was comments that didn't agree with going to Gen Ops, but I mean, Gen Ops deals with buildings just as, more than education does. And, you know, quite frankly, this was asked of me if there was a way we could help. And we brought it forward as an idea to try to get it forward as something that's solo and individual, not put in some omnibus package to hold hostage with some other athletic funding. To be able to do this, just simple. I can go on and have plenty I can talk about for the next 30 minutes about this. But, you know, I don't think it's appropriate to send it to education or another committee for it to die, because that's the intent of that, in my opinion. Westmoreland has asked for this. We have a means to do it from the hospital fund. We have over $1 million in that fund. That was my funding source that I've mentioned twice in Gen Ops, and I've mentioned it twice in budget when I came and spoke. I do have the packet information if anybody wants it, if we need that for tonight. But again, we're not voting to appropriate money tonight, but my motion is to move it to the full commission in February with notice from the Finance Department and the Law Office about the opportunity to do this in February for this amount. And, you know, I hear a lot about from this floor of, well, if we don't do this now, it's going to be more expensive. Well, I mean, this is true. If we don't do this now, it'll be more expensive for them next month as interest rates keep compounding on this. And that is a fact. And so it is something that I think we can do and should do on behalf of the community. So I so move.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second to do.
We received an email from the director of schools this weekend that said that there's only 4 high schools that have quarterback club debt. White House High School is not one of them. Okay. It was Hendersonville, Beach, Station Camp, and Westmoreland. The county has said yes to Beach High School's request for $9.1 million for their booster clubs when they came here in 2023. The county has said yes to Hendersonville High School's request for now $9 million total when they came here on behalf of their booster clubs. Most recently, $480,000 for their baseball facility that as of August 2024, their baseball booster club was trying to raise funds for this facility, almost $500,000. And the school board just stepped in November, the director of schools, we're just going to pay that for you so you don't have to take out a loan. They were planning on doing exactly what Westmoreland did, but now they don't have to. So you've got, the county said yes to Beach for $9.1 million, Hendersonville for $9 million. They also said yes to Station Camp for over $2 million for track and a future obligation for a football irrigation system. And all I'm asking on behalf of Westmoreland is just $274,000 for their actual debt for facility, because what they could have done in 2021 or 2020 when this facility that Principal Dupper was talking about, they could have let it fall down, they could have let kids be injured or get sick from mold and mildew, they could have let that happen. And then when the Beach bleacher fiasco happened, they could have come down here and demanded everything like everybody else did and said, you hate kids if you don't vote for this, and they could have gotten millions of dollars at that time. But they didn't. They were, as Principal Duffer did say, they were being fiscally responsible and trying to solve a problem with what they could. $200,000 they took from the capital allocations that were given by the school board to all schools equally, the same amount every year. They just took some of theirs and saved it back. And I will say about those capital allocation funds, they were not all discretionary dollars that could be used for whatever each principal they wanted to do. There were much of it was earmarked for certain things that they actually had to spend it on. So it wasn't just they could use it how they saw fit. It had to be, there were certain parameters put on those allocations. But Westmoreland, if they just basically, they took this upon themselves. The community raised $400,000. They built their bleachers themselves. They built their concession stands themselves, their locker room and their weight room. And they did us all themselves to try to be as fiscally responsible as they could. And I just find it silly that if we're going to talk about quarterback clubs, I can easily say no to Beach and Hendersonville and Station Camp if they come asking. My answer is I'd be absolutely no, because we've already done this. But Westmoreland's not asking for anything else. They're not asking for all this stuff. They're not demanding it. It was a request, can you help us out so we can use this for jerseys or whatever? And I think we have an opportunity to do it. The county commission has done it before. The school board director has said that the previous and current, that the school board can't do this. Only county commission can do this for them. And I think there's an opportunity to do it. There are only 4 high schools that are not a part of that. So I couldn't vote for this amendment for White House because they're not, according to the director of schools, there's no debt for their facility. If we want to come back later for that, I'm all happy to do it, but I won't vote for that tonight. Again, it's conflated the issue. It's about Westmoreland. It's no secret. We've been talking about this for 2 months in 2 different committees. Disagree with the comments about that. I mean, by right, anybody can bring up something from the floor of the commission. Don't have to go through a committee. 13 votes, it's on the agenda. And that's just state law. So at the end of the day, I think we need to do this for the folks of Westmoreland. And I think it's the right thing to do, and we have an opportunity to do it. So I'm not going to, against if White House did have debt, but I can't vote for that amendment tonight without seeing something, because when the director of school says they don't have it, why give them the money? So thank you, Mr. Chairman. I did want to make a couple comments since I was referenced. I did not talk about schools coming here and demanding that their debt be paid off. Facilities be built, which is future forward facing, not rear. And it was mentioned about representation. You know, as far as representation, Westmoreland has 1 commissioner, just 1. Portland has 4, White House has 2, Millersville has 1, Goodlettsville has 2, Gallatin has 8 commissioners, and Hendersonville has 9 commissioners. So we're talking about representation. Beach in Hendersonville, Beach got $9 million, Hendersonville got $9 million. Those are both Hendersonville schools. Gallatin got $3.1 million so far. Portland High School, $2.6 million they got, and Portland came down here too in 2023. Station Camp, $2 million. Miller Hyde Magnet School, $820,000. White House, 0. Westmoreland, 0. But what we're talking about here is, we're not talking about athletic debt. We're not talking about debt for all these other 401Cs. We're talking about a facility debt for a specific purpose, commensurate and equal to all the other facility money. $26 million, over $26 million has been allocated so far for these projects. Press boxes, concessions buildings, bathrooms, training rooms, locker rooms, offices. That's at Henderson Beach, same thing as Hendersonville. Gallatin press box, 1,000-seat stadium. Portland High School, Homeside Football Stadium, Station Camp, the new track, tennis courts at Merrill Hyde. $26 million so far. And we're talking about a building for in need to help a community in a way that they stepped up to try to do it responsibly and financially as best as they could to take care of a problem of raw sewage and mold and mildew. And so I think it's the right thing to do. This has been an ask specifically for Westmoreland. I think it's right to just move forward with this alone at this time. So again, that is my request. I'm going to answer some questions that are asked. One question was asked, like, who benefits from paying this off? Sumner County School Board does, because they own this building. These citizens don't own it.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask that the clerk place on the board the adding of Westmoreland onto the agenda next week.
With the notification. It's with notification
with
for nonprofit allocation.
Yes.
In the news.
So, Madam Clerk, are you ready?
Each commissioner record your vote.
All right, this was not, I want everyone to understand what we have voted on. This is not approval. This is notification that this will be on the agenda for next month. All right, and that was approved, 15 affirmative votes.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right.